Have you ever wondered what it takes to capture love in its purest form? Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Mejasan Weddings. I'm your host, Rati, and today, guys, we are going behind the lens with an amazing creative who see your wedding through his eyes and believe every shot tells a story. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Ranjiv Singh, the African Weed, here with me, and this is Mejasan Media Production. Ranjiv, how are you?
I'm fine, thank
Karibu
you.
sana.
Pleasure.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Si nimekutafuta?
Yes.
Umefika?
Nimefika.
Ready for this?
Yes, totally. Sweating, but at least.
No.
I'm good.
Feel free.
Yes.
Comfortable.
Yes.
Because you know what? This is Mejasan Media Production.
A pleasure.
Thank you. Kindly introduce yourself briefly and why wedding photography?
Yes. I am Ranjiv Singh from Ranjiv Singh Photography. I am a photographer. I do all kinds of photography, but majorly events, wedding photography being the main one. It's been a whole journey. By the time I got to wedding photography, it's been a whole journey. I didn't start with photography first. I started with fine art. Yes.
Really?
I started with fine art. I didn't start with photography direct. After leaving school, I took a degree in computer science in Dedan Kimathi University. But I didn't want to pursue that. Not because I wasn't good, but because I think that wasn't my dream. It wasn't my passion. My passion was towards art. So I started fine art in Kakamega. Then in 2015, I bought my first camera. And that's when the journey of photography started. Yes. Wedding photography, the reason why wedding photography is because I enjoy dealing with events, the emotions, the chaos, all those things, the process, the joy of seeing two people who love each other, coming together to become one. So that is the reason.
Now, Ranjiv, you've talked about leaving computer science and heading to fine arts.
Yes.
Why the transition?
Before going to take computer science, I was still a fine artist. This will surprise a lot of people. I'm not that young. I completed school in 2007. After completing school, I joined someone who was running a fine art place, drawing banners, t-shirts, all those things. So that's when I started fine art.
Okay.
And the first fee for my university actually came from fine art. There is an organization from Canada called Access, African Canadian Access program. They support girls, but I was a boy at that point, and I told them I have pieces. If you can get somebody who can buy them,
well and good.
Yes. So I did that even in university. I did some paintings in university. I sold paintings to survive. So when I came back, I was like, this is what I want to do.
Okay.
So I started that in 2012 in Kakamega. Been doing that. I did that up to now. I still practice, but now photography has become now the major thing. So I did that till 2015, then got into photography. And I think that is what inspires my kind of photography. Whenever I take a photo, I always ask myself, if I wanted to paint that, how would I want it to look like?
Okay.
Yes.
Now, in regards to weddings, right?
Yes.
That first call, Ulipigiwa ukaambiwa, Ranjiv, I want you to handle my wedding.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
How did that make you feel?
First of all, my first wedding, like mine as Ranjiv Singh, initially in 2015, when I got into photography, I joined somebody approached me and told me, you have a camera, I'm opening a studio, can we partner up? Can we join up? So I joined him. We did a lot of work together, but it was one of the weird experiences where you work with somebody, and I worked with him, I think, around 4 months. I made him a lot of money because we did a lot of work. I honestly say we did a lot of work. I think we made more than 400,000 in terms of weddings at that time. But I was paid 3,500 in the whole mathematics. 3,500. It was an experience. The last experience I had with him, I was called to. He told me we had a wedding in Tot. Tot is right in Marakwet, in the escarpment, right in the escarpment. So he tells me we have a wedding, and I tell him we need to go and see the location. We need to know where the location is. He told me no. I've been told it's a very direct place. So we went to Tot. Unfortunately, we left Kakamega in the evening, and getting to 10, we are told the shortcut was Tot because the road was being recarpeted. It had a problem, so there was a lorry in between, so there was no passage. So we had to go through Tambach, a place called Birech. Then you now start taking some weird rough road. Bad rough road, not even bad tarmac road, bad rough road. We covered around 300, it should be around close to 300 kilometers of bad rough road. At some point at around one, we had been told that distance is just 1 hour to Tot. So at some point at around 1 a.m., we met some guys, they were packing mangoes. The mangoes that come from Marakwet towards Kakamega and all these other areas. So we asked them, like, we're going to Tot. This guy just told us, when I thought, Tot and then two. I said, boy, you can figure Tot. So literally, this guy tells us at 6 a.m. in the morning, when the sun is coming down, is when we'll get Tot. We've been told it's 1 hour. We got there at 6:30 in the morning. He was totally correct, 6:30 in the morning. After that, we did the wedding, came back to Kakamega. I wasn't paid, so I quit. That was my point of wake-up call. I was like, no, I need to quit this job. So I quit. I left, and luckily a friend of mine we were in Kakamega High School with, then went to Dedan Kimathi, we had a wedding, so they sent me an invite. Sending me an invite, I asked the guy, do you have a photographer? Because I can do photography for you for pro bono, then you get a videographer. That was my first wedding, how I got my first wedding. He told me, if you can do it pro bono, why don't I just give you my budget and then you get a videographer? So that's how I signed my first wedding in Nairobi. Mine, when I ran. I didn't know anything about quotations and everything, and I was going to do it pro bono. So I got 2 other people, paid them. The amount I was paid was around 36,500 to be specific. I don't even know how I delivered that job. I think it's God's grace. I don't know, because right now if somebody gives me 36,500 and I go with 2 other people to Nairobi, I'm not going to deliver. Because the amount of paying someone, one, you have to deliver a photo book, you have to deliver some frames. So if you look at it, I think it was just God's grace that I delivered that job and they were happy. That was my first wedding. So that's how I started wedding photography.
Now, bado tu hapo kwa your first experience, right?
Yes.
Describe it in one word.
It was a lesson. Yes, it was a lesson.
Matters quotation, matters delivery.
Matters quotation, delivery, going to see the location before signing a deal. You have to see the location, because you'll be told we are in Kisumu. Kisumu is our county. Somebody will tell you I'm Eldoret. Eldoret is our county. It's too big. So you have to know what are the situations. You go to a place and you will think, I'm going to carry my lights and I'm supposed to carry a certain number of batteries. Then you get to the location and you realize they do not have electricity. That was our experience in Tot. We got there and there was no electricity. We had carried studio lights. Luckily, I had carried extra batteries for the spill light, so we had to use the spill light in the church the whole time. We couldn't even the photo session, you couldn't use the lights because it was dependent on electricity and there was no electricity in the area. So those are some of the things I learned, like, no, you need to learn how to go and check the location, know the situation of the location before agreeing on the deal. No, because you might get lost. There's locations where we got lost while coming back after the event. We found ourselves in Cherengani. Cherengani is towards Kitale. We were supposed to be heading towards Kakamega.
Now, with the wedding, tushafika kwa harusi, right?
Yes.
My people tend to just see the end product of it.
Yes.
Now, take me through your day as a photographer / videographer.
Yes.
So that mtu mwenye ana watch here and you guys do a lot behind the scenes.
Yes.
Briefly, through your day, from morning till the end of the wedding, be it nyombo or anything.
Yes.
Yeah.
For me, it's not even, my wedding does not start during that day because it starts early. After signing the contract, I have to share ideas with my client.
Amazing.
I have to share ideas of what I'm supposed to do, because the confusion of getting onto the photo session and then the bridesmaids have their own ideas, the grooms have their own ideas, everyone has their own ideas. The photographer does not have an idea of where they want to do it. It wastes a lot of time. So my day starts on the day when I share the ideas and we say, like, we're going to do this. These are the creative ideas we're going to do, so that it's easy on that day. In the morning, it depends now where the wedding is, because the weddings that you have to pick the bride from far away and you're coming to a different location. In those, the morning might start very early. And then the previous day, the other thing we also do as part of the process is I always advise that my whole team stays in the same location, because we have to brainstorm. We have to agree on what we're doing, how we're going to operate, what we're shooting the next day, all those things. So it starts earlier than just that day. So in the morning we get there, there's a wedding I've gotten there at around 3:30. By 3:30 you're already on location and you have to start shooting. You have to coordinate, because there are times you get there and the makeup artist is being held by the bridesmaids. That's the moment when now the honest part of me comes out, and you tell the bridesmaid, please, it's not your wedding day. Your wedding day, you will stay with the makeup artist the way you want.
Yeah.
But this is the bride's day, so it's time for the bride. I need to shoot the bride while they're preparing. So I'm strict that morning. There's that part. And then now, the process of going to the location. We always have our own means. We used to have the client's means, but sometimes it's inconveniencing. Maybe there's an extra guest who they didn't expect. So now we always come with our own means, regardless of which event it is. The church, going to church, we have how the church is. There are churches that have rules, so you have to go and during rehearsals, you have to meet the officiating pastor. So they tell you what are the rules. Like in Catholic, you don't step on the altar. You never step on the altar for some churches, Catholic specifically, regardless of who you are or what. There's a time I was doing a wedding, then the person who was wedding was was supposed to be a father at some point, but they were given a chance to quit. There's a time they were given a chance to quit. So he quit and then decided to marry. So now he is close with them. So while I was shooting, during the signing of the certificates, one of the heads of the bishops, the teams, called me like, yeah, come and shoot. I just made one step on that first step. And the bishop took me back like, no, you can't do that.
Not allowed.
Even if you're called, do not go. Unless you're going for, like those people read those verses, they can be allowed. But for photographers, do not. The other rule is you don't cross. You're here, you go in front there, you don't. Always get one from on the other side, the other. So you can come to the center here and in a respectful way. So it's also one of the things you need to know for the church. You also need to know where you'll get your sound, which is the best sound, where you put your lighting. So that's now the reason why I go to church to understand. After church now, most of the time it's always a photo session. Photo session, if you have the ideas before, you will understand what to do. And it will save you a lot of time, save your clients a lot of time. Yes.
Now, tumefika kwa harusi, right?
Yes.
You've really talked about a lot of things.
Yes.
And of course, hapa kuna pressure.
Yes.
Kuna pressure.
Yes.
How do you handle that, especially in the morning hours? Wasichana wana take long, to do their makeup and all that. Client anataka deliver at the same time, unataka uchukue picha bride. How do you handle the morning pressure?
I think, first of all, I will tell you, a friend of mine said these words in this specific order. You're a stickler for timekeeping. I am a stickler for timekeeping. That is one thing I try at most to keep time. Because in my contract, the contract says if I or any of my team members delays to arrive in the morning, the client retains 10% of the agreed amount.
Okay.
They retain. But that thing cuts from both sides. When the wedding gets at 5, I start charging overtime. Yes.
It is known pale kwa contract?
Yes. Okay. When the wedding gets to 5, I start charging overtime. And it's non-negotiable. Yes. Because if I started working, for example, I told you there's a wedding I got there at around 3 a.m. From 3 a.m. to 3 p.m., that's 12 hours already. So to 5 p.m., that is 14 hours. At some point you get fatigued, even your brain, your creative side goes down. So I think it's appreciative when a client tells you, yeah, I understand you worked for more than 8 hours. So after 5, I charge overtime.
Coming back to the contract.
Yes.
Hapo to stick hapo.
Yes.
You said like time ikipita, there's another charge for that.
Yes.
Is this, if that isn't like ija kwa bride and I feel, kuna kitu imefanyika yenye it is so unavoidable. How do you handle that? Lenye sasa it doesn't make sense for her or rather for the couple kuongeza the price. Like it's something unavoidable. How do you handle that?
Most of the time, all this is unavoidable.
Oh, okay, please explain.
I will explain to you the reason. I give you examples of reasons why weddings delay. Especially, I come from Western Kenya and I see this every time. The first person who delays the wedding in the morning are the bridesmaids. Because they will be told you are supposed to wake up at 3:30. They will wake up at 5. They've already eaten 1 hour. Then, they decide to hold on to the makeup artist. It means by the time the bride is being worked on, It's not the time they were supposed to work on the bride. Time has already been eaten on. 2, the makeup artist is the other person who will delay the day, because they will tell you I'm coming, and then they book 2 events. So they have to go to another event before they come to your event. So they miss your event. Or they tell you they show up in time and they then don't show up in time because of transport and other unseen circumstances. Number 3, photographer. The photographer tells you I'll show up at 5:30. They show up at 7:30. So you cannot start doing the makeup a bride because the photographer is already not there. It's not there, so you can't do that. Number 3, transport manager. If they cannot coordinate what time the vehicles will get to the location and all those things and who is getting to what vehicle, they will waste a lot of time. Number 4, there is always an aunt. There is always that one aunt who wants that basha.
Okay.
That money, that small handout they give. They will lock the gate. They will waste time. They will want to sing for an hour. So they will waste a lot of time. Number 3, your pastor. A pastor wants to preach and get people saved during a wedding. It's on Saturday. There is Sunday for people to get saved. This couple just wants to go home and have their first day after becoming a couple. So there is that pastor who preaches. You go to churches like, I've been raised in Church of God, and they preach. They start preaching at 2 and they'll end at 4. And
I can relate.
you can't cut that preaching. They will say we have to preach. Mtu watu wataombewa, watakuja mbele kuombewa na ni kwa harusi. So there are a lot of people who confuse that. The same way, the number of people you have on your bridal team. If you have a lot of people in the bridal team, there's a wedding I did, they had 13 ladies, 13 guys, and then plus I think 8 kids, and everyone is supposed to dance while coming into the church. That's an hour. So there's so much being wasted. We finish that. We are done with the vows. We go to the photo session. If your photographer does not know what they're going to do during the photo session, you'll waste a lot of time again. Because you have now to think about ideas. They have to go to Pinterest on location. You go to a location, there is no internet access. Now you have to think, like, let's just do something. Then you come back to the reception. Come back to the reception, the MC. The MC wants to show off. He has his own photographer they want to record, so they will dance, they make you dance for a whole hour, 2 hours, because they have to market themselves. So they will do a lot of things. When you're done with the MC, you go back to that aunt. Is that aunt from the morning? This aunt has to speak. And they will tell you stories about how this kid was always sick during while growing up. They will tell you so many stories. And at the end of the day, you're wasting time. Then there is the cake matron. Hii keki imeundwa na chumvi, hii keki imeundwa na sukari. And they will tell you, we have had this story before. We know what the cake is made about. Just go straight to cutting. So there is so many people who waste time in between things that could be saved. Some of these things we can avoid by, you know your location, you know you're going to do a wedding in Kisumu. There is no point of getting the bride from Homa Bay. There are so many Airbnbs that can act like a home for the bride, where the parents can come and stay with the bride in the same place. It will save even on transport costs of coming from Homa Bay and the time. So there are things that we always say unavoidable, but they're not unavoidable. They are very avoidable. So just make sure. Like for me, when I go, I know. Like if you say gari liharibika asubuhi, while you're going to the location, that's unavoidable in quotes. But if you slept at close to where the bride is, your gari kiharibika hapo, mnatoka mnaenda, you're shooting while the vehicle is being handled.
Now, let me talk about this aunt.
Yes.
Turudi tu hapo.
Yes, that aunt, the special one.
The special aunt.
Yes.
This is like how you cannot. Do you interrupt that? Akifanya mambo yake hapo na pesa nini. Have you ever interrupted that? Because I feel like it's a family thing.
Yes.
Or other traditions.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Have you ever interrupted that special aunt akifanya mambo yake pale?
There's a time, actually the bride was happy with me, the makeup artist was happy in that situation. That aunt was interrupting now, doing whatever they were doing. The aunt came and started quarreling and literally talking in the direction of the bride, while the bride was doing makeup. And I told the bride, I told the aunt, please, this is my bride. if she gets mad or starts crying, I don't get my photo. I need my photos. So if you want to make noise, there are so many people you've passed from the door, from the gate, everyone from there. There's so many people you could have talked to before you got here. So please, no noise in this room. I don't want to see anyone else here except the best maid and the makeup artist. And I just out of the room.
How did she react?
I don't care.
Wow.
I did my...
I love it.
The bride is so sensitive. The bride is the most sensitive part of the wedding, because that's somebody you don't piss off on a wedding day. It's her day.
True.
It's not their day. It's not the day of the aunt. It's not even the day for the mom. It's not even the day for the groom. It's not. The groom only pays for it and shows up. But the wedding day is for the bride. It's important to her. She's supposed to be in the best mood. Do not even touch her. Don't touch any of her emotions. Because the area got pressure. She has enough pressure. She's not supposed to handle another. So I'm very protective of the bride during that time. That's why I can tell anyone, it's not your wedding day, it's her wedding day, so stay away.
Now with this unavoidable, right?
Yes.
Unavoidable things
Yes.
in regards to the bride, the bridesmaids, nini.
Yes.
Is there a time when you've talked to them professionally, but lakini sasa there's no agreement and wewe ndo unabaki with frustrations and everything?
Yes. There is a time I was doing a wedding, and we were actually out of Kakamega. The wedding was supposed to be in Kakamega, but we were taking the bride from somewhere else. I go to the location, and then the bridesmaids held on to the makeup artist for a while. So I started complaining because we were supposed to shoot the preparation, then shoot all those things, interview with the mom. So when I told them, we're wasting time, it's already 7, the bride has not yet started. So the bride told me, wacha tuwafanye, I'm not yet ready. I told her, the way we are continuing, the way we are going on like this wedding is going to end at 8. And no, I charge overtime. She was like, wacha tuwamalize. I told her, sorry, it's okay. I was just trying to help. So we did, walimaliza, we left the location at around 11, we go to Kakamega at around 1. We did the wedding. Kafika 5, mvua ikaanza kunyesha, so nothing, hata keki hizi katwa. So now I'm just taking random photos under the linear, because they're using this normal time, not every frame is easier, but these are the ones. So now you're just shooting a few photos while you're sitting for that 10, because you have to work. By the time we're nation around 6, now they have to cut the cake, and then now because we decided to do the photo session last. We need the photo session at 8 exactly. Then I took the bride candle and do you remember I told you the wedding will end at 8? This is 8. And told me, you're very good at your work. Reason being, I can estimate. You can estimate the way things are going. There's so much time being wasted. You can know. So you can always tell a client, if we go like this, we will go past the agreed timelines.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, kwa wedding kuna service providers wengi, right?
Yes.
Now we've talked about wasewa cake, watu wa deco and all that.
Yes.
How do you make sure like you have a smooth day in regards to all the service providers hapo kwa harusi?
I think I'm lucky. I've worked with service providers who are very professional. I'm yet experienced service provider who maybe just a makeup artist. I've had a makeup artist who was late at two events. That one but most of the other service providers, maybe transport manager, I've had an issue with those ones because of time, but that doesn't affect me, because when you have your own vehicle, whatever happens, that's for deco, most of the deco people I've worked with, they start preparing the day before. The whole night they're there. By the time you're going to the reception, everything is set. The cake, they always set it up early.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think I'm lucky that most of the service providers I've worked with, they have been professional and good at timekeeping. Yes.
With your team now,
yes,
since you've talked about the service providers,
yes,
your own team when you umetoka now,
yes,
your whole production,
yes,
how do you like manage them so that kila mtu akwe at par with doing their work, either nyombo, wedding, church, nini?
Communication, the way I told you, we always brainstorm at least the day before on what we are doing, so that when you're going to shoot, we are shooting, we know this is what you're shooting, these are the timelines, we are getting to this location at this time, so you have to prepare as early as possible. They also know I'm very strict. If you don't show up in time, you get fired.
Immediately?
Yes.
Unatoka.
There's always a second option.
Hakuna ku-explain?
No.
Okay.
Because there is 10% being retained. Or I'll deduct that from your pay, the 10%. Because we are working. And if I'm professional, they're supposed to be professional. It's not even just about time, even dress code. I suit up for all my weddings. I suit up for all my weddings. I dress up for all my events, and I dress according to the event. Sometimes you have a corporate event, and you have to dress up as a corporate. So I dress up for all my events. So I always expect my team to also understand that we are supposed to dress up and have decorum. So it's not just about time, it's decorum, how you handle the clients, how you speak to the clients, how you're dressed. They're just those nitty-gritties, the small things. They're important. Because it's not just this wedding client. At an event, there is a corporate client. There's another client who came as a guest, but they work in the corporate entity. That might be your next client.
Yeah.
Yes. So your time for corporate is they are very they are good at timekeeping. So if you don't keep time at a wedding, they won't book you for a corporate gig. So it's more about the decorum, the discipline, how you're handling yourself. You see, you get to a wedding and then somebody wants a shoot, like they turn it into a free photo session. Hi, unaweza nipige picture? And I'm like, no.
You don't do that?
I don't. I'm like, wait.
Okay.
I don't. I was called by a client to take a specific photo, not sideshows.
But see, that person has attended the wedding, like...
Yes, they are a guest.
Yeah.
They are a guest. They can get a photo if they are lucky, and then in a moment they'll get a photo.
But, okay, clarity.
Yes.
Badai ama...
Badai, and I don't even share with them. I don't share with that person. I share with the client. And then the client decides who they are going to share the photo with. Because the client is the one who was paid. We have a contract with the client. I want you to get this situation. This a situation where you're from a wedding, and somebody asks you, like, doesn't me a photo in pig? And I'm like, yeah, there's a tumor. Then you send the photo. At the same time, you're telling the client, I'm still editing your work. But other people are already posting the photos.
Makes sense.
So you're literally suspecting a client and tell them you're still editing, but you're already sharing with somebody else the photos. And then there are also clients who are very private. Clients who are like, I don't want my photos for the wedding shared anywhere else. You only share with me. Or they will tell you what to share. They will share, then they tell you can share this. So if you keep on sharing photos, there are photos where there's somebody who is maybe works in the DCI or something on a sensitive, and they're right in that photo. And they don't want their photos going online.
Makes
so legally
sense.
also doesn't, it's tricky. So I don't share photos. After events, I don't share photos with other people. I share with the client, then the client shares. Unless the clients let me know, you can share some of them with people.
With people.
Yes.
So it's basically the clients
Yes.
go ahead.
They own. They are only to pull. Okay, they don't own the copyright, but they have signed. They are paid for that work. So I give them the first priority. The client gets the first priority.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Now, so the bride,
Yes.
Coca bride. Tell me one experience that you've handled with a difficult bride.
This is very legally.
Usichome kazi.
This is very legally binding.
Usichome kazi.
Well,
But,
that's where I told you at some point I will hint. This week, actually for the last 2 weeks, I was supposed to be arrested.
Okay.
For the last 2 weeks.
Talk to me.
I went to Nairobi for a job with Turkish Airlines. So while I was there, when I was coming back on Friday, I got a call. So somebody tells me like, hi, I have a job, I want to meet you. And I'm like, no, I'm on the road, heading back to Kamega, so I can't meet. Then something hit me like, I've had this experience before. It's on Friday. Somebody's called me and they tell me the work is tomorrow. So they insisted, like, ukifika tu, I mean, I'll be tired. I'll be there at around 5, 6 in the evening, so I'll be tired. They're like, no, just look for me. So I didn't look for them, I just told them, no, I'm tired, I can't. So the next week calls me, nikaambia, when is the event? I can be postponed to the Saturday. That Saturday, that Friday, they never called back, they never talked about the event again. So this past Friday, they call again at around 9 a.m. Nikutafuta wapi? I'm like, huh? Nikutafuta wapi? Like, no, sintafute. Like, about what? The job. The job was supposed to be the other Saturday. Oh, it will postpone. I'm like, no, this is sensitive. So I just wrote the message. I mean, if I'm needed in a police station, please just tell me. I will show up.
Are you fool?
I will show up. You don't need to coerce me. I will show up. So they went silent. Saturday, another one texts me like, there's a client who's coming to town, they want to meet you. But like, if they want to meet me, they're supposed to text me, not you.
Yeah.
Then I'll give them your number. So Monday I was called and I was summoned. There's a time I used to argue with clients online. Now I don't. When a client posted, I was young, broke and dumb. So a client would post anything, and I would just go there and then post my post and do a response. These days I don't.
How do you go about it these days, Basi?
I go silent. When you're targeting corporate world, you don't do drama. You don't do that much drama.
I agree.
Plus, I've grown. There's a young boy who used to do that long ago. Right now, the clients I'm dealing with. Yes. But my problem is not even such crazy client. My problem is the people I work with, the people from where I come from. There's so many issues in my market. The Kamega market is messed up. Extremely messed up. It's messed up.
Is it that bad?
Yes, it is.
Because
I will give you a very good example.
Give me.
When a makeup artist you've been working with goes and posts that you sleep with your clients.
On all social media platforms.
On her social media platforms. And then you're trending. And now is the question, like, you sleep with your clients. Before you give work, you have to sleep with someone. Like, you literally refuse to give work so that you can sleep with them. Then after sleeping, give them work. At some point, they have said, somebody, a page was created because of me. And they said, I am gay. I'm destroying people's marriages. That's my market. That is my market. That is literally my market. I've grown. I've done a lot of steps. From when I started in 2015, I've charged a wedding 35,000 in Nairobi, not even Kakamega. Right now, I can comfortably do a quotation and clients will be like, yeah, that's okay. So I've seen my growth. It's 10 years. I'm literally celebrating 10. Actually, this month, I'm celebrating 10 years in this field since 2015. And I've seen the growth. So people expect you to be on the same position every single day, charge the same price. You're just there. You invest in your skill, you invest in your gadgets, but still charge the same price. That's what, if you are stuck there for 10 years, then I think you should quit that project. You're supposed to see the growth. You're supposed to see both sides. You as a person, your craft, your gadgets, your prices, the clients. You're supposed to get new clients. You keep those ones who can grow with you, do away with the ones who are stuck, and get new ones.
Can you just look at the camera and say that about getting stuck in 10 years, kama kuna growth, you look for another thing. Just look at the camera and be firm with it.
It is my belief that if in 10 years I am stuck in the same place I was, then I should quit. I should quit that job. Because it means I'm doing the same thing every day and expecting different results. Doesn't work like that. I need to grow every day. Grow in terms of new clients, new locations, everything, gadgets. You're investing in your skill, the work. If you look at my work in 2015, it should be the same work I'm doing today. And it's the reason I do not compete with anyone else. I compete against myself. I look at my work yesterday and I look at my work today and ask myself, am I better?
Okay.
Yes.
Now, bado tu hapa kwa harusi, sawa?
Yes.
The technical bit of it, right? Because you guys mko pale behind the scenes as a videographer and as a photographer. Mvua imenyesha hiyo siku.
Yes.
The weather is so bad.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Hapa you need to deal with lighting. Tuseme sasa kani inje.
Yes.
Let's talk about sasa inje ochana ndani, you can maneuver your way around it.
Yes.
So mvua imenyesha. The weather is terrible.
Yes.
Imenyesha the whole day. Let me talk in an instance where the mvua imenyesha the whole day.
Yes.
How do you handle this? Now, Joe, you need to deliver at the end of the day. Bride anataka kuja yako in her element, rather.
Yes.
The couple work in their own elements.
Yes.
So how do you handle that?
Well, you're supposed to be creative enough to understand things will never be in control every time. Because there are days what unasema hata mvua. It's not about rain only. There are days your trigger just fails. Your trigger just fails. And you have to go back to using a speed light. What do you do? There are days you go to an event and your camera fails. And you have to make sure you're calling. And the only camera that's available, I'm used to using Canon. Then somebody tells me the only available camera is Nikon or Sony. You have to adapt. You have to adapt. There are days the way, like in Western, we answer 6 in the morning. The weather should never affect, because, okay, I understand right now a lot of people are dependent on lights, strobes and everything.
Yeah.
There's that dependency, and I feel like maybe it has made us less creative, because without lights, there's somebody who will not deliver.
Oh.
Yes, there are people who cannot deliver without light. They have to have their lighting. Every time they have to set up lights. They go to a wedding, and not the events that are so fast. I've seen somebody in a political rally with lightings. Political rally with lights, and set up lights. I questioned what we are raising right now as photographers. To be honest, in a political rally, they came with strobes. That's a place where things happen so fast. There are places where even the light can be broken, can fall down and everything. So the place you're like, no, I'm keeping the lights away because it's raining. I don't want to lose my light, so I'm going to go natural, use my speed light. You have to understand your settings, understand your camera, understand your settings. Because before those lights, we were people were just taking photos with cameras. So you have to learn how to adapt. If it's raining, find a place where you're safe, your gadgets are safe, stand there, use a zoom lens or something. The only unfortunate thing is for weddings, I believe you need to be very close. You need to be very close to the knee, because there's so many emotions that happen in the wedding.
Yeah.
There's so many emotions. And for you to get the best photos, you have to feel the emotions. Yes.
So you guys...
For you to get the best photos in a wedding.
So the bride is crying?
Yes.
You feel...
You want to cry with her, or you want you to cry with your wife like that.
So you guys feel the emotions?
Yes, we do. We do.
Ah.
Yes. I've been to a wedding. It was a dowry. It was a nyombo, and the groom stood up. Okay, the father of the groom stood akapeana the amount they had agreed with the parents, and then he said, "My son would like to say something." So the guy stands up, and then says, "I know we agreed. We are going to give 10 cows, but I don't think I can put value on my wife, because she's the reason I am the man I am today. So I'm going to add 30 cows.
Okay.
And he was paying in dollars. So there are those moments where like, I want to do that for someone.
Yeah.
So you have to feel those moments. When you feel those moments, you get the right shots. When you are at a distance with your zoom lens, you just get clear shots. You get clear, good shots. But when you're close there and you're feeling the emotion, you get the right shots, because you're in there and you know the story and know what story you're telling.
So you encourage photographers and videographers, when they're going to, handle a wedding,
Yes.
they should
be open.
the kind of
Yes,
emotions.
the kind of
They
emotions
should
that
be
are happening.
open.
Yes.
With whatever is happening.
Yes, you're not just taking photos, you're telling stories.
You're telling stories.
You can't tell a story that you're not part of.
Amazing.
You can never tell a story that you're not part of.
That's why in the beginning I was like, every shot tells a story.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
So nakama tuseme in times when you don't feel the emotions, wewe uko pia uko na emotions zako. How do you handle that?
One of the things I do to avoid such things, because we're human.
Yes.
Don't handle work if you're not in the right emotional state, because this is a creative thing. There's something we call a creative block. So when you have a creative block, it means you cannot ignite that part of you that does this. So you might be just doing it for money. You might be doing it for money. That's the reason that I mean personal shoots, I schedule them. I don't do impromptu. I don't do impromptu shoots. I schedule my shoots, so that you tell me I'll be coming on this day, so that I am in the right set of mind for that. For weddings, that morning, the moment I get to the location, I put off my phone. My phone goes off.
No distraction.
No distractions. Example, you are in a wedding, in the middle of a wedding. Your wife calls you, tells you, they're going to the hospital. Or your brother calls you, dad is in bad condition, he's in hospital. You know you can't work.
You can't.
Yes. So I've always told my people, no matter how many times you call me, I am not the doctor. If that person is going to die, they will die.
Are you for real?
Yes, I'm honest like that. So please don't call me when I'm working.
Okay.
There are other options. You can call other options.
And your people know about this?
Yes, you will get help. If it's a medical emergency, I am not a doctor. You have access to money. You have access to everything. You can handle it and update me later. But at this moment, my client is a priority. I'm not handling any other thing.
However bad it is.
It doesn't matter. My phone is off. You won't get me.
I think your client should not.
You will not get me. You cannot
are, huh?
call me. You cannot get me during a wedding or during an event. You can never get me. If you get me, it's because the client needs to talk to me. You know, I'm having conversations with the client. But everyone is always told, do not call me during an event. You don't even text if anything is an emergency. I will not handle it.
Now, you've talked about having conversations with the client.
Yes.
So what happens when, in regards to work, like your kazi yenye unafanya?
Yes.
If your client wants to communicate with you, I get it. The bride will not, talk.
If my phone is off, there is always somebody I always ask, like, I need somebody, I need intermediary. There's always somebody who's linked towards me, who, in case I put off my phone, they will always come and tell me, they're asking this or they're calling you. So it's physical. So they won't need to call me or text me. They will just use somebody to get to me.
All right.
Yeah.
And the wedding, unaifanya vizuri?
Yes, peacefully. When I'm done, I will put on my phone and then go through everything.
Now, still on the technical bit, right?
Yes.
Iyo msafara ya the bride kutoka kwa tuseme penya yako to the church.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And is there any breakage in communication? Like, how do you handle that between the driver wa mwenye anaendesha bride and you guys? How, maybe ako na haraka kufika na nyinyi, how do you handle that?
Well, for us, we communicate before. We always tell the driver like how we're going to shoot. They have to work with our pace. Because they're not shooting the whole. Most of them people shoot, like, you see somebody shooting from the location to the church. No, there are specific shots that I want, because I'm not going to use all that. I'm supposed to just use specific shots that are creative. So there are locations that I tell them, I'll shoot at this location. So when you see me slowing down, slow down. Then at some point I tell them, when you see me going fast, let's just go. Because we are all saving time. So always know which shots you want and shoot them at that right moment.
So there's prior communication.
Yes, there's prior communication. Why, before you leave the home of the bride, you also tell the transport coordinator or the driver, please, we're going to be at the front. Then the next car is the bride's car, and then the groom's car. Then the rest of the people can go, they can figure out where they will be. But there are those that important bit of the order of the car. So when I start going fast, I'll just show them, like, when I do that hand signal, that's it. They'll always follow me.
Has this worked for you over time?
Yes, it has always worked.
Yes,
unless there's always this one driver who is used to going with politicians, so they think it's a political rally they're going to, so they'll keep on running and tell them no. Or unless the bride has decided, like, we are going to rush. Yes, but you have to consider that you can rush, yes, but there are other vehicles that are slower, like those buses that call the aunts, and the aunts have to receive the bride in the church. They have to dance. So no matter how fast you go, you have to wait for the last bus to arrive for the session to go on.
Okay. Now that we are done with the technical bit, tukujapa money matters, quotation in nini. And I believe weddings are expensive when you guys are quoting, right?
Yes.
How do you convince your client to, work with you in regards to the quotation that you've told them?
Well, about quotation, the first quotation I did in 2015 is not the same quotation I'm doing right now. Because I have grown and I have seen the ripple effect. Even the people I've worked with, I always tell them, as much as I'm paying you right now, I want you to pay me at some point, to also get a job and call me. Because I'm not supposed to be the one who's paying you every day. For quotations, one thing I always tell my clients, a lot of clients think food is important. A lot of clients think deco is very important. A lot of clients think they always prioritize other things. But at the end of the day, after the wedding, the only item you will stay with are the photos and the videos. Chakula watu wanakula wanaenda nyumbani. Mtu wa deco anarudi na deco yake. So it's only the photo and your spouse that you're keeping. So those are the important things. There is nothing as bad as you are a bride, and then you look at your wedding photo book or the video and you hate your wedding. And you start wishing, I wish I picked the other person. Because this wedding is only going to be done once. There's no redoing. The bride only cries once with their mother. They won't cry again. You can't tell them, now cry, I want to take a second shot. No, they cry once. So you need to get that photographer who understands those moments.
Yeah.
You also need to understand that your friend is not your wedding photographer. Your cousin, your brother is not your wedding photographer. Your studio photographer is not necessarily your wedding photographer. You have to look at, are they good with moments? Have they worked in a wedding before? Have they delivered? Do they understand what the wedding entails? Because in a wedding, they kiss. And that first kiss is genuine. If you tell them to retake, it's a joke. The first one is very important. That one, you may kiss the bride. If you miss that shot, you always see people like, we have not gotten the shot. Now you have to redo. You won't get that first one. The video, you won't get that first one. So this person should be good with moments. These little stories. They should be good enough. If they're cheaper, that's okay. But they are good. Because there's someone who's cheaper, but good. They can deliver. Because they are not yet there. Because for me, before I go to this point where I can quote what I quote, I had an experience with a client. I did the job, I delivered. The client added me 10,000 Kenya shillings and told me, your work is good, but learn how to quote.
What?
Yes. Your work is very good, but learn how to quote. There are people who have lost work because they underquoted. they underquoted. They have lost work. So in the process of being a wedding photographer, you start by being a creative person, and then at some point you have to become an entrepreneur. You have to understand entrepreneurial skills, because it turns into a business, a creative business. So you're not just running a creative industry, you're running a creative business.
And you have the now still
Yes.
quotation.
Yes.
Right? Umelipwa.
Yes.
Sindio?
Yes.
Now the photos are edited, the videos are edited as well.
Yes.
Umepeana kazi.
Yes.
And the couples
Yes.
are not satisfied with your work.
Yes.
Or rather, they even don't want it.
Yes.
Have you experienced that? And if so, how
Not
did you
yet.
go about it?
I haven't experienced a point where a client doesn't want my work. I'm yet to.
Why is
Actually, I've gone back to my work from back then. There are jobs I have gone and looked at. I'm like, this client was happy with this work. Because back then, you were still learning.
Yeah.
Like if you go to 2016 and you look at the work and you're like, hey, I was doing this kind of work. And this client was very happy. If you look at your work right now, you're like, no, nimetoka mbali. So I've not had an experience where a client refuses and says, I'm not picking this work. But if a client I've had a complaint where a client tells me, I want this and this. And I think that's the reason why for video,
Yeah.
we give the first edit. The client is supposed to look at it and review. After reviewing, they send back feedback. Then now we do a second copy with that feedback, which they're supposed to also review again one last time. Client satisfaction is important. So I don't just hand over and I'm like, yeah, that's fine or no. A client is supposed to review every work that you give. Photos too. There are times a client says, this photo is dark. Can you brighten? Or this photo you did black and white edit. I will wish it in color. So we've had that situation. It's normal. So a client is supposed to give you feedback on how they want, because there is a way I want my work to look like, and there is a way a client picture their wedding to look like. The photo book, I first design a photo book, share the PDF version of the design. Then the client goes through, approves. After approval, now I print. So you can't print before the client approves. Yes. So the whole process is about it's supposed to be a whole experience, so that it feels like you're working together. Not that you're working in a corner somewhere in a dark room, and then the client just shows, voila, here is your work. No.
Yeah.
They're also supposed to be part of the process.
A point of may I know?
Yes.
When editing the video,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
The client anapena, the couple, wanapena their own preference on how they want the clip to be, or you use your creative side to do that, and then you send the first draft to them, or how do you go about it?
We first create, first of all, while we are brainstorming, we already have an idea of what we want to shoot and how the video is supposed to go.
Yeah.
So we don't edit during editing. You start editing on site
On site.
while shooting, because there are clips you delete on site. You've just shot the whole clip and you're like, no, this is not what I want. And you delete it right there. That's already editing. There's a clip, you know, I'm not going to use this one anywhere. So we start editing on site. While you're shooting, you're supposed to have an idea, even photos. When I'm shooting a photo, I know how I'm going to, if I'm going to turn it into black and white, I'll just know this is a photo that's going to be in black and white. So by the time I'm going to select those photos, I already have an idea how each photo will be edited. So having an edit before, an idea of what you want to shoot and what you want to edit is better. So when you share with a client, most of the time a client will tell you, can you change this music, put this music, or toa huyu mtu, I don't, the speech was too long, cut it or something. So most of the time it's that. That's what they need. Because our clients trust us. For them, before they serve you, they've seen samples of your work. So they should trust you enough to be good at editing, so they're not telling you, micromanaging and telling you how to edit.
How to.
Yes. They're just supposed to like, surprise me.
Not how they want you to edit, but how they want the video. Because I feel like the couples have their own vision of what they expect. We are human beings.
Yes.
The couples expect this type of work, or rather this clip on how it appears.
Yes, I think that's the reason why when you're sending samples, they already have an idea.
Yeah.
When they're picking, they're like, this one can achieve that. So you do not deviate from what their dream was. It's like this wedding is going to be shot in a specific style. So whatever you're changing, it's like maybe this clip, take it to the end or bring it. There are those ones that are normal.
Oh, I get it.
Yes.
Now this is prior.
No, after. After the wedding. After the first sample.
Let me get this still.
Yes.
You've been called to work.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So how do you, apart from, let's say the quotation side, of course they've seen your work.
Yes.
On social media, apparently, you've sent to them the sample.
Yes.
And then, to my understanding, I guess the couples will say, I want this type of work.
Yes.
I want my wedding to look like this.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
That's how it works.
That's, Actually, they even send samples from other people. Sometimes they will look at a photographer from maybe outside the country, in Nairobi, and then share with you, like, can you look at this? Can you look at this? That's the same thing. You see, like the photos I share, the samples I share, the ideas, they're not my photos. You go and do research. So you're both doing research. I'm doing research on my side, they're doing research on their side. And then they share with you and you share with them, and then you have a discussion. By the time you're going to the wedding, you have a conclusion of what the client expects and what you can achieve, and then you have a common ground.
Okay.
Yes.
How many drafts can you take? Like how many mistakes can you handle? Like when the client are ready for corrections?
We do twice.
Twice?
Yes. We do twice.
More than twice?
We charge.
You charge more than twice?
Yes.
And that
because when you do the first edit, you always tell them, look at everything and give corrections. So they give you corrections. And then you correct those ones. When you do the second one, you assume like maybe we missed something from the list they shared. So while they're sharing this one that you missed, they're supposed to add in case they also missed something. They're supposed to also look again and then go through.
Okay.
So if you tell me a third and you're giving me, if the third one is our error, because we can make maybe an error during editing. If it's ours, then we'll handle. But if it's a case where they're giving a new one that could have been done in the first edit, you understand? Yes, so that's a back and forth. Yes. So we try to avoid and tell them, no, just make sure. Actually, we tell them, are you sure you've looked at everything? Can you go back and just look again and look at everything? So that when you're editing, at least it's easier for them also, so that they get the video in time. Yes. I
believe there's the third charge.
Yes.
Iko kwa quotation.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. All of them, for legal reasons. For legal reasons, actually it's not in the quotation. It is in the contract. For legal reasons, my contract is supposed to explain everything in details. Delivery, payment timelines, arrival time, overtime starts at what time, all those things. So by the time the client reads, then I also don't allow another photographer on site for my events. The moment I am selected as a photographer, no other photographer is allowed on site.
Hold, kidogo.
Yeah.
Harusi ni yangu, right?
Yes.
This is my wedding, right? And probably Terry has friends
who have cameras.
Yes. And they're saying, okay, I want to have, I want to have your pictures as well.
They are not allowed to shoot.
Really?
Yes.
So how do you wakikuja na
No, there's a
camera on
reason.
site?
I can explain. There's a reason.
Before you explain.
Yes.
Wamekuja na camera on site. How do you handle that? Do you kuza them mama, you tell them professionally?
It is in the contract. I'll tell them, switch off the cameras, put them away. I've had that experience where I went to a location, somebody was doing, actually had been contracted to do live streaming by the family. Unfortunately, they did not notify me because the contract also, it allows sometimes, but you have to notify me in advance because there are situations where it's uncontrollable or you want to use different people on the same day. So we have to agree on how we're going to work. So if you tell me in advance, I'll know this photographer to agree, meet at Kwai side. You always plan because we know we work together. Some of them are our friends. So tell somebody you'll be here, I'll be there so that we are not interfering. You're not passing in front of the video guy because the video guys are supposed to be right in front of us. The rest of us are nyuma.
Yeah.
But now this person has come. First of all, they're in the wrong position. My video guy is not taking the right shots. I just told them, put off the camera. They refused. I put mine off because that's what the contract says. If they can't put off the camera, I'll put mine off. And I have the right to terminate the contract at that point. So I communicated with the client. I told them there's a photographer here and I've not been notified before. So I need them to shut down their cameras because they're interfering with our work. So akauliza like that's our live streaming guy aliitwa kaitwa wakaniita akamwambia no his work is going to be edited, it's what we'll keep, your work is going online, it's not ours. Then you have to work online, so his work is more important, give him whatever he says, do it.
Give me reasons why you do that.
Now there are people who come to weddings with phones regardless. Samsung S25, Ultra, iPhone, Xiaomi 15, all those good phones, and they have good cameras. But now, there's a professional side. Somebody will come and take photos, even with a camera. Somebody comes with a good camera and they're taking photos. You see, most of the time you'll find that person will share their photos early. Because he's taking just random photos. And then they'll go online. Sometimes the quality is not what was expected because they know Ranjiv Singh was the official photographer and this is the quality Ranjiv provides. So this person was giving the same photo because they're your cousin, they're your friend, you have not watched their or looked at their quality. So now it goes online and everyone is like, who took the photos? Ranjiv. Who took the photos? Mejasan. You know, that thing is happening. Maybe it was somebody who is in Nairobi. You're not there to defend your name. You're not there to defend your brand. They do not know there was another photographer who was not contracted, who was working just on the side. So you cannot do quality control for them. For your team, you can tell them this is the quality you want. Or if they tell you in advance somebody is coming, you tell them these are the settings, these are the quality you want. So for the sake of the brand and for the sake of the quality, so that the client asks Shanghai, which photos are these that are out there? I am strict about that. Because I will not have a chance to defend the brand when somebody says Ranjiv was the main photographer. Because the moment it's Ranjiv Singh, they know everyone who's there is an employee. Yes.
Now, can you control that though?
Yes, you can.
Other than?
By limiting who shoots and how. Yes. When you decide, somebody has told you, I'll come with the camera. You'll tell them, Sawa, when you come at this point, meet me, we do this and this, we share ideas. And then I tell you when to share your photos. Do not share the same day. Wait for the official photos, itoke kwanza, then you can release your photos.
Makes sense. Now, hot trends.
Yes.
How do you keep up with the hot trends in regards to photography and videography while handling a wedding? How do you keep up with it? Hot trends, kuna zingine you jump on it, ama you don't, ama you stick to your own creativity?
When I told you, I completed school in high school in 2007, university in 2012. It means I'm the old kind of people.
Yeah.
Those old ones. I don't jump onto every train.
Yeah.
I do not. I've created a style. And I want to stick to that style and build through that style. So like I said, I started with art. When you're an artist, you create your style. If Leonardo da Vinci decided to jump on every train, he wouldn't have created the art that is standing out right now. So my idea is create your own style, follow that style, make it unique. There are a lot of things right apart doing reels and everything. I'm here to do reels. I want to start because of Marketing reasons, not because everyone is doing.
Yeah.
I don't want to copy somebody else's style.
Uh-huh.
I want to do my style like in a professional way. When you have a behind the scene person, they're just doing behind the scene.
Yeah.
I'm not on TikTok.
You're not TikTok?
No, I'm not on TikTok.
Why?
I told you I'm an old guy.
Okay.
My white hair. I'm not on TikTok. I'm on Instagram, but not that active. I'm the Facebook kind of photographer. My business runs on Facebook.
Tell me about it, because I feel like people are moving to the other side of TikTok for marketing purposes.
Yes.
And then the reels, the small clips.
You see, TikTok is good, but it's good for marketing. Instagram was good at some point, but now the type of clientele, you have to understand the type of clientele you're targeting. My type of clientele are mature people. The kind of people who you give a quotation, they're like, what else should I add? Not, is it negotiable? No, there are two questions that somebody asks. What else can I add? That's a very different question from, is it negotiable?
Yes, very different.
The other person is negotiating upwards. The other one wants to negotiate downwards. So there's a type of clientele, and there are clients who, they don't care where you are. As long as they've seen your work, they trust your work. They call you, they pay you. They won't ask for a meeting. You have a contract, yes. They will read the contract. The other client will not read the contract. On the day of the wedding, that's when you start issues.
Okay.
Yes. It gets to 5 and we're like, I charge overtime after 5. Well, like, you didn't tell me, like, in the contract, clause number. And then it hits them. I didn't read the contract, I just signed. Now I have to pay. And it becomes issues.
Do other couples don't read the contract?
There are people who just sign. I don't know. The same way we just sign a lot of things. People just sign documents without understanding what is in the document, what the document says. Yes. Because that document can get you arrested. Those documents can get you arrested. Yes.
I think it's just important to just
It's important to read and understand. But I always specify when I send the contract, I always tell them these are the important parts. These are the important parts, because you have to understand the payment plans, the delivery, how are you delivering and everything. Yes. So the reason why I'm on Facebook is because that's where my type of clientele are. I've understood the type of client I want to work with. Though I'm moving because you never know. I have friends who are older, but they have said they have joined for the sake of their employment and everything. So people are moving, yes. So I need to get there, but I don't know how to handle that chaos here. TikTok.
TikTok either kills people.
Oh, trust me,
it doesn't, but I feel like it's working for some people.
Yeah, there are people it's working for them.
Working for some people.
TikTok, Instagram, especially with the reels. Reels are working a lot. I've seen people doing well because of reels. When your reel is trending and moving, people see you.
Yeah.
But for me, I work through referrals, and those referrals happen through either the phone, WhatsApp, phone, or Facebook. Yes, that's what I've experienced.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
This is the first time I'm hearing like somebody embracing like Facebook.
Yes. I am a Facebook person. My whole life revolves around Facebook. My business life revolves around Facebook. Like the job at Turkish Airlines through Facebook. Yes.
So basically your marketing...
my marketing strategy is through Facebook.
Is on Facebook.
Yes. A bit of Instagram, but Facebook mostly. I'm on Twitter, but Twitter is just go and check who's demonstrating.
Who's trending?
No, who's demonstrating? Who's
demonstrating?
Who's going to the streets?
Are you for real?
Yeah, see, Twitter, that's what happens with Twitter. What kind of business do people do in Twitter?
But there are other things happening on Twitter.
Which ones?
So many things.
Political, football, trending.
In fact, today you go look at the trends, whatever is happening. I mean,
there's always something weird in there, in the trends.
Yeah.
Yes, so Twitter, I'm there, but not for business reasons. My business, Facebook and Instagram.
All right. Now, in regards to quotation,
yes,
I tend to understand that clients, they weigh.
Yeah.
Mtu anaweza kuja kwambie,
yes,
akwambie, hey Ranjiv, why are you putting me an X amount and this other production they're giving me a different amount and yours is a bit higher?
Yes.
So just reasons as to why you give that X amount.
Yeah. Now, first of all, I can take you back to where I told you there's a client who tells you, is it negotiable? I'll give you a very good example. There's this client who came to the studio when I was sitting in the studio and asked me, like, we had the whole discussion, then they end up asking me, is the price negotiable? And I pulled this line: we don't negotiate with terrorists.
Ah?
Yes. or we laughed with the client. We laughed. That's the lucky part about the kinds of clients we have. I can do a dark humor and they will laugh along. So we laughed. And after we stopped laughing, she told me, I am going to work with you because you're very different. You didn't even tell me, no, it's not. You told me in a way that, I'm like, I've watched movies. This is a line that is done in movies. We don't negotiate it, so you used it. Two, it's not respectful for a client tell me the other person is charging a certain amount. Reason being, we're offering different services. Everyone has, it's about justifying your quotation. What are you giving? What is the service? Like I told you, that person might be charging less, but on that day of the wedding, they'll have their phone on, while my phone is off. I'm giving you priority. Maybe on that day they won't keep time. I will keep time. There's a creative side. There's a communication side. I'll keep you in the loop all through in case of an emergency. I'll keep you in the loop. So it's about the service. Two, it's about gadgets. Though gadgets is not that, for me, it's not that important. Reason being, I've seen people with very expensive gadgets, but the quality they're giving with the same expensive gadgets is very low. So it's about being creative. Even with WhatsApp, just be creative enough and you can deliver. If you can deliver in a professional, creative and inspirational way, then the client should go for that price. Two, the reason is, I am giving you more of a service after the wedding. 24 hours after the wedding, you get 10 to 15 photos. So that we do not dilute your wedding with phone photos taken by random people. So in 24 hours, you have the 10, 15 sample photos, 15. Or at least you can post your photos happily.
Yeah.
That is an extra service. For our photo books and our mounts, we give you a whole 12 months warranty. As long as nothing happens to it without that's not physical, we'll replace it for free. So there are things that you get from that service that it might not be logical that, but later on you'll understand why this service like that. Then we give you full attention, regardless of your event. The events you go to a funeral, you're charging the same price a wedding. Actually, even more expensive. In a funeral, yes.
Why?
Funeral, I will say it in how people say it. Ni harusi ya mwisho ya mwenda zake. So it's still a wedding. It's still an important event. They'll be buried once. So it's still an important. So we give the same attention regardless of the event. Nyombo, funeral, corporate. You're giving the same attention. So the quotation should be at par. So justification, that quotation is not just about quoting, it's about justifying it should be worth the service. Every coin, because people invest a lot of money.
Yeah.
They invest a lot of money, so you are supposed to justify each one of them. If there is a mistake, you're supposed to correct that mistake. The client is supposed to go home happy and feel like, I actually paid less. So that is one of the things.
An experience where a client amekuja ku compare, weigh prices. Have you ever had that experience? Like weigh prices with other productions?
Yes.
How did you go about it?
I'm always honest. I'm too honest. Sometimes it borders on the line that some people think it's rude. There's one who shared with me like, oh, this one's charged like that. I told them, I can even give you numbers of other people who are charging even less than him.
Really?
Yes. Because when you come and give me somebody else's price, you could have used their service. There is a reason why you are coming to me. You want my service and want it at the other person's price. You should want my service at my cost, not at the other person's service. Because one, there is a duration that a photographer has taken to be in the field. They are not selling you just photos. They are selling you creative art. They have learned it. They spend so much time to learn this skill. They're not just selling you photos. If it was just photos, we could just get the cameras and put it there and then just... There's that creative side that we are marketing. So you're supposed to understand like there are different levels. There are different levels of this field. There are people who have been there for 10 years. There are people who have been 5 years. There are people who have taken 3 years, but they are way ahead. And they have mastered the skill. So it's the skill that we're selling, not the photos. Because we don't even sell the photos because we own copyright to the photos. But the skill and the service and the quality of the service, that's what we're selling. So the price should go hand in hand with the service you're being offered, not who is offering it. If you get a cheap person who's giving the same quality of service, we never get mad when you pick that person. We will never get mad because there's somebody who's cheaper, but they're offering the same quality of service. And I'm like, oh, you pick this, somebody. I'm like, yeah. Sometimes I'm not available. And I will tell you, I'm not available, but can I refer you someone?
Yeah.
There's sometimes I've gone to Facebook, brides on a budget, and somebody, they ask like, I want a photographer in Kisumu, and I'm like, no, this one, I am not available this date. So I'll mention someone else. Because I can't chew more than I can swallow.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't just pick everything. So sometimes you look at you like, yeah, there is somebody somewhere else. They might be cheaper, yes, but they're good. So if you get somebody who's good and they're cheaper, it's good because it's your day and you have the right to do that. But comparing, telling somebody, this person is charging this, why are you charging me this? That is, I think it brought us about a long lack of respect to the photographer. Because you could easily ask just without mentioning the other person, oh, why are you charging that? And I will tell you, I'm offering this on this day, like on the wedding day. Normally I always have a minimum of 2 extra cameras. Just seated somewhere. I'm not the kind of person who will tell you, camera ilizima, so I didn't get a shot.
So you have
There's
backup.
always an extra camera somewhere, just in case. Because these gadgets fail, they're machines, they fail sometimes. So you have to have an extra. There's always an extra person on standby for every event. I could have eaten the wrong food that night, and now I have a stomach upset. It's an emergency. I'm supposed to go and handle it. There should be somebody on standby to handle that job while I'm handling my business, then come back and then resume. I could get sick on the ground. Does the wedding stop? No. So you have to have an extra person on site, just in case. That's why now those what I told you, unavoidable. They call it unavoidable circumstances, but they are very avoidable if you think about it in future. Like, what if the possibilities? Because it's part of the possibility that maybe at some point somebody might get sick or something might happen that might need somebody to be somewhere else, somewhere. You need somebody to stand in. So having an extra person, an extra camera, enough batteries, and everything, lights. Understanding that a light can fail, you're supposed to switch immediately and go to another option. So those are some things that make it like I'm giving you high-end services. I'm not just taking photos at your wedding or your event. I'm giving you high-end services. I'm giving you a priority. So that is one of the reasons why I used to.
And speaking of this person who is on standby, I guess that is one person who is on your team.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Now, with these team members, how do you coordinate with them? Ama moja kifanya mistake, right? Like, how do you handle them?
Well, I always communicate in advance, and I tell my employees, in quotes, I don't call them employees because I want them to employ me at some point. I always tell them, we have to be professional all along. We have to be professional. So the moment the client complains, you're off the team.
Oh, like a specific person, you're off?
You're off the team. Yes, you're off the team.
Okay.
My brand, I've created this brand for 10 years. You live and create your own brand. You live with these problems. I need to solve them right and then. So there are those things I just say like, no, you're off the team. It's not even about during the wedding. Editing. You're supposed to edit and deliver at a specific time. I told you, I'll always give you an example. I went to a wedding. I'm working with someone. So we do this wedding, and then after the wedding we're done, I give them the clips. Then they're taking too long. They're telling me, oh, I'm in Samburu, I'm in Tanzania, blah, blah, blah. Then they come back and I tell them, I'm coming to give you the drone shots. So something just told me, copy these clips. So I copied and backed up everything on my hard disk, then went back. This guy took more than 8 months to edit a video, a wedding.
What?
Yes, more than 8 months. Just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And this client is very important to me because she's a service provider. So we work with her in the field. She's patient with me because she knows this guy will deliver. So eventually I got another different person and they edit the video, nikapeana.
Yeah.
So delivery is also, because if I tell a client I'm delivering on 15th you are supposed to give me the work. If you can't tell me so that I can employ someone else to do that work, because they are paid well. I actually pay my people well. As much as it looks like you're expensive, but you also pay your people well so that they appreciate. That's now the other thing we maybe as the owners of this field we might forget. You have to pay your team well so that they have no reason whatsoever not to prioritize your work.
Yeah.
I pay well.
Okay.
Yes.
I know there's probably one person here who will be, person who is watching, atakupigia simu, probably wanting to work with you, you know, because you pay well. I mean, who doesn't want to good money or work with someone who pays well, right?
Yes.
Now, still upper kwa teams, appearance is very important.
Yes.
While you're working.
Yes.
You talked earlier about you like suits, dressing up in suits while working during weddings. How wengine your teams? How pia wanavaa suits ama nini?
I always tell them dress up well.
What is dress up well?
Dressing up well means you have to be presentable depending on which event you are going to.
Yeah.
And the people who are going to meet in that event. If you are going to a funeral in the middle of Kakamega, sometimes you can do jeans but look presentable. I have hoods and shirts that I can give them when we're going for a simple event. But when we're going for weddings, it is very important to dress up in a presentable way. Reason being, not just because of the brand, but also respect a client.
Yeah.
They're paying you so much for you to show up in Crocs. Please, it's comfortable to wear Crocs. It's comfortable and it's easier to move around.
Yeah.
But how are people looking at you? How do people take you serious? Your work can be very serious, but on the ground, like I said, there's a client, another corporate client there. Will you go to a corporate job with Crocs?
Nah.
A corporate job, you have to dress up because you're meeting CEOs and everything. In that wedding, you meet people, and people are dressing up, and then you're the odd one out with some weird outfit. If you're branded, it's okay. There are those ones where you brand your team. But for me, as a person, when I go to weddings, I can brand my team. But for me, I do a suit. That is for weddings. For Nyombos Rashos, I can decide if I'll do whichever, but it will be presentable.
Yeah.
Very presentable. That is one of the rules I've created in the brand. I have to dress up for the event.
Okay.
Yes. I just have to dress up for the event for the respect of the client. They invested a lot in me. Plus, I'm running a brand. I'm running a company. So in that case, you behave like somebody who's running that company. Yes. So the dress code, I talk to my team. In case somebody is not dressed well, I will tell them next time do not dress like that. That one I can't fire you, but it is a way. In extreme, no, you have to reorganize. This one is too much. Change. But I always advise for young photographers, just dress up well. Dress up well. And sometimes you can even do a suit with just some nice sneak, and it will still be comfortable. Or you can do presentable jeans. I don't do rugged. Sometime back I would, but right now I can't go to a wedding with a rugged jeans. Yeah. I can't.
Okay.
So it's a discipline I've created. I don't know how, but I've just created that discipline. And I think I had a conversation with someone that I like how you respect your clients and you dress like that. Yeah.
It's very important.
Yeah, it's very important. It's very important for the image and everything. It's very important. Yeah.
Now, experience. You've shot weddings, say 10 years, right?
Yes.
Been in the industry for 10 years.
Yes.
Experiences, good or bad, generally. Talk about it. Whether, and also you're based in Kakamega, right?
Yes.
Would you want to, step out of Kakamega and probably even come to Kisumu? Talk to me.
This has been an interesting journey. Being a wedding photographer and events photographer is an interesting journey because I've gotten to learn to meet different kinds of people. I've gotten to learn different kinds of culture. I've learned things that I wouldn't have learned. I'm going to places that I wouldn't have gone.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to Tot. That's in Marakwet. It's in the middle of nowhere. I've moved around. I've met clients from different countries. You work with different people, you understand different culture. I've done an Indian wedding. And that's it felt like now I've gone with the Indian name that is Indian name. It felt like now I'm with my people being in that Indian wedding.
Yeah.
So you get to learn different cultures. And going back, I've been taking computer science, I wouldn't go back and practice. I honestly wouldn't practice. I love what I'm doing right now. I love what I'm doing because I do it from the bottom of my heart. My caption for my company is imagine, create, and inspire. So I'm supposed to be imaginative every time, creative, and inspire people, inspiration.
Yeah.
So it has helped me be imaginative, be creative, and I've inspired several people. I've helped people capture moments that were a lifetime situation. And I've helped them keep those memories. So I wouldn't go back. I love this, and I love the experience. For moving, it is my plan to move out of Kakamega this year. Kakamega has been a good journey for the last 10 years. But my first wedding was in Nairobi. I have my graph was like this, then I'm at the peak. And so it's now straight. I need new challenges, I need new clients, new experiences. So Nairobi will be my destination. Nairobi is one of them. Kwale is another option. Every time I say Kwale, people will be like, what is in Kwale? They forget Diani is in Kwale County, so Diani. Most of the jobs that are done in Mombasa and Diani are photographs from Nairobi, so I wouldn't mind going to Diani. Any environments around Nairobi. Kisumu is scary because when it comes to service, Kisumu people love functional stuff, buying functional stuff. I have a Mercedes Benz, people are saying it. I have a big TV, it's on the wall, everyone is, he has a big TV. I have nice shoes, expensive shoes, they will love it. But now, for service, you have to understand the value of service, and you cannot display it. You cannot display that service. So I feel like the spending, the money exchange in Kisumu is a bit lower.
Yeah.
Yes, I am literally in Kakamega and I'm supposed to also have clients in Kisumu because I work with people from Trans Nzoia County, Uasin Gishu County, Bungoma, Busia. I've actually done more work in Homa Bay and Siaya and Migori than I've done in Kisumu. Yes. I've done more work in Homa Bay, Siaya, Migori, more than in Kisumu. Yes.
Weddings in Kisumu.
Weddings, I think, have I done everything? Have I done, I think I've done one.
One?
Yes, one wedding in Kisumu. I've only done one wedding in Kisumu. And then I think we are breaking into the Kisumu market is a bit, actually, this is a funny thing, my videographer comes from Kisumu. My videographer comes from Kisumu. Actually, I've worked with 3 videographers from Kisumu.
And they've done a good job.
Yes, and they've done a good job. They've done a good job. I worked with 3 videographers from Kisumu. I rarely work with people from Kakamega.
Why?
There are very few who can give me what I want. In terms of, you understood, I'm very strict with time, all those things. You understand? So for professional reasons, I get my team from outside Kakamega, Nairobi and Kisumu. Yes, a bit of Eldoret, but Nairobi and Kisumu.
I feel like scary is a bit one for Kisumu.
It's scary.
No harm to try, you know.
I'm not doing experiments at this moment.
Okay.
I mean, I've told you the graph in Kakamega is I don't want to go and come to Kisumu and then it just and then goes back to flat.
It might work for you.
No. I have to be convinced or confused for me to come to Kisumu.
Wait,
convinced or confused. Those are the 2 options. Or the other option is, considering I've been running this for a while, the other thing that I've considered for a while, but getting the right partnerships. Because in our field, if you work alone, you'll never go anywhere.
Yeah.
It's about partners. There are days when somebody else has work and you don't have work. Those are days they're supposed to call you, hey, I have this gig, I want you to go represent me. So I would wish to get more partners, people who will call you. The only scare in Akwaga, like sometimes people want and then they want to take over when they go for that work. You send somebody for work and then now they want to become the manager and give their own business cards. The discipline of just going for someone, telling them, no, if you have any questions, call him. He will give me directions. A lot of us creatives, we don't have that discipline. And I think that's something that we should work on as creatives, where you can be sent by someone else for work and you work for them and never mention your brand anywhere. You only mention the brand that sent you. Do not even ask how much that other person was paid, because that's not your business. You only talk about, I was told to shoot this and this. Is there anything extra? Call the guy.
Yeah.
so that you can inform them. Then they will tell me what extra I'm supposed to shoot. That discipline is what a lot of us creatives lack. We always want to show, oh, I'm also very good, so I'm going to sell myself when the project is not yours. Yeah. So I'm hoping I'll get. That's one of the things when I went to Nairobi. I did is a social capital. You go and meet different people, different photographers. I met Mutemwa. I went to Mutemwa's studio. He's doing well in Nairobi. Yeah, he's doing well. So I've met him. I've met a few photographers. I met the KQ photographer. I met him. We met a lot of. So that's social capital, meeting different people and learning to work with different people.
Yeah.
So that you create a broad base of clients. Clients are not just the wedding client who will call you. Another photographer can be your client.
Okay.
Yeah. So if it's Kisumu, I don't want to come to Kisumu myself. Maybe working with someone else, so that we make it in Kisumu. Yes. So that when I'm in Nairobi, I have a wedding in Nairobi, I can call Mejasan and they come to Nairobi and work with them. Or I have 2 weddings in Nairobi and I can call them. And they have 2 weddings in Kisumu and they can call me. So that is what I want.
Yeah.
I don't want to literally come to Kisumu. Yeah.
Any other experience?
It's a good journey. It's a good journey. I'm hoping, maybe for clarification, I know I'm very strict. I'm very straightforward. There's a reason. I respect my business so much.
It's very important.
I take my business seriously. I take my work very seriously. Sometimes it bothers me when somebody might think I'm being rude, but I'm just being honest and saying no sugarcoating, just say it the way it is. I'm hoping that people will understand that this is what I do. This is my employment.
Yeah.
This is where I eat from. This is where I pay my bills from. So I'm making it better and I'm becoming better every day and learning every day.
Yeah.
So that at some point I can do one job in a month and wait for next month.
Next month.
Yes.
Value.
I just want that value.
Value.
Where the client knows this guy will deliver and they will pay you what you ask for. And they know we don't have to follow up. They will just deliver.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, message to future brides. Any message to future brides to make your work easier?
Please take the photograph as one of the most important services you receive in a wedding. It is the most important service because they will decide how you look at your wedding. Look back at your wedding in 10 years. 10 years, you look at the video.
Yeah.
And if it was shot well, you'll go back and you'll cry again. You'll go back to that moment. You look at the photos and you will go back. So please take the photographers as one of the most important parts of the service. 2, I don't want to be booked because I am the cheapest. I do not want to be booked because I am the cheapest. I want to be booked because I'm giving you the service that you deserve. Not what you want, actually.
Yeah.
The service that you deserve, if not better. I want to be booked because my work speaks for itself. The moment you hear that name and you see that work, you'll be like, I want to work with this guy.
Yeah.
I don't want to be booked because he's cheap. He's available. Just look at my work and look at it like, can this person deliver? If they can deliver, please book them. For other things, I have a contract that is always signed. It gives guidelines on payments and everything. So contracts are legally binding. In case of issues, there's always a way you can go to court and say these are the terms and conditions we agreed on.
Yeah.
So that is easy. Yes, and I'm strict on the contract. We have to sign contract. Before any payment is done, all the contract has to be signed.
Professionalism at the end of the day.
Professionalism at the end of the day. That is so that at the end of the day, you are not working on word of mouth. He said he will deliver. Saying and there's no evidence in a court of law, there is nothing. Because sometimes we also fail. But the truth is we also fail. Some people don't get it. Sometimes we fail.
Yes.
Ourselves, we know we have failed. The right thing is always apologize or refund. So if I have failed, you're supposed to tell me like you failed here, so I'm not satisfied. If I can correct it, I'm supposed to correct it. If it's something that you can't correct, then there should be guidelines that tell you like there is a problem here. So this guy is supposed to refund me.
Yes.
Yeah. So sometimes we are in a creative world. Sometimes we do fail. People don't get that. They always think it's always perfect. Every wedding is perfect. Their weddings you'll go and you realize like no. For reasons, might be my own reasons or other reasons. Sometimes you get to the ground and you're like, no, the ground is not working. I expected this. These are how we brainstormed. Unafika ground uko like, no, this is not the setup we thought it will be. Or hakuna lights, mtu wa deco alikuwa lights, hakuleta lights. So you carry yours, but they cannot hit everywhere.
Yes.
Yes. So there are those situations where you are like, no, you have to understand.
Yeah. And owning up to your mistakes.
Yes.
Right. Speaking of akuna lights,
yes, yeah.
One message.
That was the Kama lights, they were supposed to bring. We bring extra lights, but if the other person was supposed to bring extra, now that is on the other side. But if I didn't bring mine, that's now on my side, and I'm supposed to own up.
Yes.
And apologize or correct.
Now, speaking of that, message to service providers, because you guys, nyinyi wote,
we work together
and yes. make the day as happy as it can be.
Yes.
One message to service providers.
I enjoy working with service providers because they're the reason why the wedding will be smooth the whole day.
Yes.
I don't know what I would say, because most of the time the deco person will want photos and videos of their work. If the food, the caterer will want some videos and everything. I'm hoping I'll meet more people, especially in Kisumu. Now that I've worked with some, like I worked with Kisumu Art House on the other side in Kakamega. I worked with a few of them. I'm hoping I'll work with more service providers from Kisumu. Yes, so that I get to know them, cake people, all those.
Yeah.
Hey, the time I posted people from Western and North Rift. I'm hoping I'll meet people from MC. I know Nyawawa. I've worked with him. Sound DJ they work with Nyawawa. Dimore. I know Dimore. I know some few people from Kisumu. DJ Vess, he has a sound system too. So I know a few people I've worked with in Kisumu. I'm hoping to meet more people from Kisumu in the service industry. I don't think I will give them any advice, because I'm just hoping we'll work peacefully.
Yes.
I'm just hoping we'll always work together so that everyone is because at some point they will refer me somewhere and I will refer them somewhere.
Yes.
That's how it works. Our work is about service providers referring each other. So I'm hoping I'll meet more. So when the ones I'm used to working with and referring are not available, I can always give a second option.
Yes.
I've worked with makeup artist Apio, makeup artist. I've worked with Apio. So I've worked with a few. Kisumu, yes. But I've loved, like Apio is good. Anytime I mention Apio, I always refer, I'm always safe. I always know like this, my name is not on the line.
Yes.
So the people I've worked with who I know, if I refer them, you refer Nyawa, I'm always sure like he will deliver.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping to meet more people, service providers from Kisumu. For the ones of Kakamega, I love working with those in Kakamega. There are some of us, we are working for me. Like where I am, this one I have to tell you for free. Where I am, there is a service provider who was literally, I may hold my hand all through. We met around 2017, 2018. And she has mentioned me in tables I never thought I would be. Like the Indian wedding, she's the one who got me there. The Africa events. She has literally,
amazing.
Yes, so there are service providers who I can say they have helped me grow to where I am. And I also look at where they are and I'm like, I want to grow and be like them. Yes, I want to go to meetings that kuna meetings zenye, kuna jobs zenye I won't be called, yeye ndiye atakuwa tu kwa mwenyewe. And I bet how much do you want, then atakuwa kwa package yake, because she's already there. Yes. So I want to meet more service providers
and work with them. Okay,
yes.
That it was like not necessarily an advice, but just something, also appreciating something to tell them.
Yeah, that's what I don't. I honestly don't have service. Maybe photographers. Maybe other photographers. Maybe, but for service providers, I think up to now I have no advice. It's just a matter of let us grow together. That's the only thing I can say. Let's just grow together. Different worlds. You can be good in Kisumu, but you need to also experience the Western Rift Valley market. Yes, we need to broaden our nets. Like we need to catch more fish. We shouldn't just fish in one place. Go to other areas. Go to Nairobi. Be called in Mombasa. Yes.
Closing up this, any word to aspiring, or rather mwenye ndiye anaanza photography and videography and wants to do wedding sasa, what can you tell them?
Patience. Do not use somebody else's quotation to do your own quotation. There's a whole journey. There's a whole journey of being a photographer. You start from somewhere. Then you have to grow every day. You have to learn. Don't skip any part. Do not skip learning the entrepreneurial side. Do not skip learning bits of cameras. Start with an entry-level camera, go to a middle-level camera, go to a professional. Not to buy a 5D Mark IV or Canon R5 before you understand Rebel T3i, T6i.
Yeah.
Because you have to go through. You might have the money, yes, but you have to go through all those processes. Learn different cameras, learn Nikon, learn Sony, learn all those cameras so that when you're stuck, you can survive anywhere. But there is a whole everything is a step. There are people, their steps go faster. There's somebody who will take 3 years and be where somebody who is in 10 years. And then there's somebody who will never be there. Sometimes you learn when to quit. There are times you just learn like, no, I have a camera, yes, but it's not my skill. So there are different journeys. There are different journeys where there's somebody who is good enough and they will use a very short period to get there. There's somebody who is slow and they will take 10 years, 20 years. Lastly, we all learn every day. Me, I never stop to learn. Like I research every day, from around, I don't sleep before 1 a.m. in the night. Between midnight to around 2, that's when I do most of my research. That's when I look at other photographers, what are they doing. I don't just learn from people who are better than me. I also learn from young photographers, somebody who's starting.
Yeah.
They will teach you a skill that you'll be like, okay, that one is new.
I agree.
So don't wait to learn from me alone. I once told somebody, there's a time I go online and I look at photographers like Ben Kiruti, you look at Mtemwa, you look at people like Brenda Malama, those big photographers, those ones from Nairobi. And then I get to experience what that photographer from Navajo experiences when they see me. That photographer from in there in Homa Bay, in the middle of nowhere, when they see you and they see you with gadgets and they see you taking photos and they see your work and they're like, I want to be like Ranjiv Singh at some point. I also have somebody I'm like, I want to be like someone at some point. So there's always somebody who is ahead of you.
Yeah.
Stop competing. Learn.
Learn.
Just learn from that person who's ahead of you. Stop competing with that person to be like him. No. Just learn. When you learn, you become better yourself. When you compete, you become that person.
Okay.
So you start picking their skill instead of making your skill better. Yes.
I know you've said you're only on Facebook, very active on Facebook.
Yes.
But just look at the camera and where they can find you.
Yes.
Other platforms as well. But I know you've said on Facebook, but just for
Instagram.
clarity, just look at the camera and yeah.
Well, this is Ranjiv Singh from Ranjiv Singh Photography. I am available on Facebook, my page, Ranjiv Singh Photography. Instagram, Ranjiv Singh _photography. I'm not yet on TikTok. I will join for the sake of it's good for marketing, and any other platforms I will. And I'm on Twitter, but Twitter I don't do photography that much. So that's it. I think that those are my socials.
Thank you so much.
Thank you too.
Thank you so much for gracing us with your bluntness. I was waiting for this for a very long time.
It's been
Thank
a pleasure.
you so much.
It's a pleasure.
Hoping for
more
of this, you know,
yes.
and wishing you all the very best, even as you venture to Nairobi, Kwale, or any other place that you will settle. All the best. Thank you, Ranjiv.
Thank you so much.
Adios.